my name is Chris and welcome back to the Modern Diver channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the K01 Spider Hood and the K01 Flex Gloves. Let's check them out. K01 as a brand first. So they're a pretty unique brand in the dive industry because they only make a really small amount of products. So they were started back in 2010 by a group of adamant divers who were on a dive boat, finished a cold water dive, came up, and they were talking about how all of their cold water accessories, so their hoods and their gloves, were crap. They just didn't keep them warm, they were falling apart, they didn't last for very long. So K01 decided we are going to make some really high quality wetsuit and dry suit accessories. So they only make 3 products. They basically have the Spider Hood, which comes in a couple different thicknesses and variations. They have a straight necked version like this. They also have a bibbed version, and the hoods are available in both an 8mm or a 5mm thickness. Now, K01 also does make the Flex Gloves. Those come in 3 different thicknesses. You can get them in a 5.4, you can get them in a 3.2, and you can also get them in a 1.5mm neoprene. And the third product they make is a fleece dry suit underglove. I don't have a pair of those with me right now. I do have a pair on order, so once those do arrive, I'll do a separate review for those altogether. So yeah, K01's a pretty interesting brand. Now, the reason that they make such good wetsuit and dry suit accessories is they use a very different neoprene than what you see in other brands. So K01 actually has a specially made Yamamoto skin-in neoprene made in Japan, shipped to them, and that's what they make their wetsuit accessories out of. Now, that type of neoprene is very special because it is compression resistant. So for example, as you go deeper in the water and those little bubbles of nitrogen in your neoprene start to compress, your hood is going to get thinner and therefore colder. This special neoprene is less likely to do that. It's more dense, so it's going to keep its general thickness, and therefore it's going to keep its warmth a lot longer. Now, I also have a comparison here of my bare 7mm hood, which I've had for about 3 years, and I have this K01 Spider Hood 8mm that I've had for about 2 years. They have a pretty similar amount of dives to them, but you're going to see in a moment how much thicker the K01 still is, whereas my bare hood is pretty much only a tropical hood now. So right here you can see my 8mm K01 hood laying on top of my 7mm bare ultra warmth hood. So as I mentioned, both of these are a couple years old and they both have quite a few dives on them, but you can see that the bare hood has actually gotten significantly thinner. So obviously brand new, the bare hood was closer to the thickness of the K01, but what I'm getting at is the neoprene that K01 uses is going to last you significantly longer. It's not going to get thinner as you dive over time. So let's take a more detailed look at the hood. So the design of the hood is pretty simplistic. It uses just a black nylon covered neoprene on the outside, and the standard model has white stitching. However, you can custom order these to have a range of colors for the stitching, which is pretty neat. You can actually also custom order it with a special design, or even give them your own design, and they will actually hand paint it onto the hood for you. So that's pretty top notch in my opinion. Now, the design of the hood on the inside is really unique as well. It uses a skin-in neoprene. So what that means is it's just straight, smooth neoprene. This is going to seal against your face the best. Anytime you have hoods that have fleece lining or wool lining on the inside, you actually do get quite a bit of water movement because it's not sealing against your face. This skin-in design is going to be significantly better. Now, the only downside to skin-in designs are they are very fragile. If you grab a K01 hood with a fingernail and pinch into it, it's really easy to rip this neoprene, so you do have to be careful with it, but as long as you take good care of your hood, this is going to last you a very long time. Now, as I mentioned, this is the straight neck version. They do come with a bibbed version. The only complaint I have about the bibbed version is the bibbed version is still 8mm all the way down the bib. If you were diving a 7mm wetsuit and you were trying to tuck in an 8mm hood, depending on how tight your suit fits, you're probably going to have a bit of a restriction in your neck. So be cautious with that. I do think that the straight neck is the more popular version, and you do find these to be used by a lot of dry suit divers anyways. So again, they're probably going to go with the straight neck version. So regarding the fit, now the fit of the K01 hood is extremely comfortable in water. However, some divers do find it to be fairly uncomfortable on the surface, especially around the jaw. Now, the early generations of the K01 hoods, some divers found them so tight around the jaw that they did actually have to trim this neoprene a little bit. Now, it's pretty easy because there's only a seam at the front, so it's not hard to cut this neoprene, so it is adjustable. However, they have redesigned their size charts, so the new generation of hoods, so anything kind of made after 2018, 2016, by my understanding should fit more comfortable. This hood is from 2017, so I don't have one of the newer versions. I normally wear a large hood pretty much in every brand. I did have to go with the extra large with the K01, but as I mentioned, apparently the size charts have changed, so just look at the K01 size chart at the time of ordering and make sure you do your measurements to make sure you get the correct size. So let's take a more detailed look at the Flex glove. So I have the 5'4" thickness variant of the Flex glove, and I honestly think these are amazing. I dove with these at the tail end of 2020, so I did quite a few dives. I was diving with them all the way down to about 45 Fahrenheit for water temperature, and I was extremely impressed. So they use the same type of neoprene, so they're going to last quite a bit longer. They don't necessarily compress at depth the same way that other gloves do. They have glued seams here in the fingers and the wrist, so you're going to get less water movement or less water leaking into the actual glove itself. And you also have a fleece wrist here, which makes it easier to slide on and off. And another benefit to this is it's going to stop you from accidentally ripping this wrist. But when you get deeper into the glove around the palm, you have that skin-in neoprene like I talked about earlier. So you're going to have no water movement in the palm or fingers, but you might still get a little bit of water movement in your wrists. However, this does make it significantly easier to slide the gloves on. If it was a skin-in in the wrist, you would have a really hard time putting your gloves on and you would probably rip them. Now, the only complaint I have about these gloves is I really don't like this palm. A lot of brands go with these kind of printed on textured palms, which, yeah, if you're a mid-water diver and stuff, that's going to be great. You're not really touching anything anyways, but especially as a professional and an instructor, I have to tie floats to metal railings sometimes underwater. I am sometimes doing salvage jobs, and these gloves, I really don't know if they're going to last a whole lot underwater. So when I do jobs that require me to touch things, I'm actually not wearing these gloves, so I would like them to come out with maybe more of a Kevlar version of this. But if you're just the average diver, I think these are a really good glove. And they're extremely warm, I can testify to that. So yeah, that's kind of a quick summary of the two K01 products that I have in front of me here. So there's the hood and there's the gloves. They are definitely worth the money. They're not the cheapest hoods on the market or the cheapest gloves on the market by any means, but you do get what you pay for, and if you buy right, you buy once. So for example, for that extra money, you are going to get almost twice the life, if not more, out of these wetsuit accessories than you would with a comparable alternative. So yeah, that's my opinion on the K01 hood and the Flex gloves. I do think they are a solid buy. Like I mentioned, they are a little bit more expensive, but you are probably going to get twice the life, if not longer, out of these wetsuit accessories, and they're not necessarily twice the price of an alternative. So I do think they're a good value for what you get, and yeah, especially if you're a cold water diver, I highly recommend them. So yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions down below. If you guys use any different brand hood or gloves that you really love, let me know down below as well. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And yeah, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.